Hello, everybody. I am the Bubble Bandit, and I am a biosynthetic robot. Today, we are talking about Marathon. This is a new extraction shooter, but is it really that new? No, no, it's not. Marathon originally came out in 1994, I believe, as a sort of Doom boomer shooter, if you will. Um, when this video comes out, which will be the 13th, this game has been out for a week, and yesterday I turned 28. Yay. But enough about that. What exactly is Marathon? Well, like I said, it is an extraction shooter, very vibrant and colourful. I would go into the art style, other than saying it looks nice and I like how it looks. I don't really know too much, but there is a video done by a guy called Jake the Alright, I think, or I can't remember what it is. His name is exactly, but the link will be in the description because if you enjoy art and art styles and art directions, I really recommend you check out his video because it's a fucking good video. It's a really good video. But enough about that. What exactly is Marathon about? Well, I mean, to start, let's just talk about who you play as. There are a collection of characters you can play as called runners. These runners are biosynthetic robots. Essentially, they are like they're 3D printed in a way, not necessarily in the way that we have now, but they are well, I guess they're bioprinted. They are made of an organic matter, which is silk, believe it or not. They are made of silk, and they are created using okay. Let's run it back. The silk is made from moths, and so they weave the silk, and then these worms called weave worms take that silk and create the robot. The robots aren't entirely robotic. They have a human consciousness printed inside of them. So you could project your mind into a robot, and therefore you cannot die. Essentially, a version of you would die, but it was never really real anyway. So it kind of makes death temporary instead of permanent. So you can keep going back. And you may be thinking, why do they need runners? What's the point in having these runners? Why can't they just do it themselves? First of all, waste of human lives, basically. Waste of human lives. These shells are really expensive to make, though, in lore, but they are backed by a collection of companies, namely Cyber Acme, who are kind of... I don't really know what Cyber Acme are, to be honest, other than an Acme group. But they're sick cunts. They're awesome. Then you have Nucaloric, who are kind of like a like a medicine group. They're big pharma. Nucaloric is big pharma essentially. Then you have Traxxas, who are they're more of like a military, more like a military group more than anything. They will want you to look for weapons and or a whole bunch of things, and sometimes even just Kill people. We also have Maida. Maida are a anarchist group. They're a terrorist group. They aren't even really a company at all, and they just kind of want you to cause shit on Tau Ceti. Tau Ceti, by the way, is the planet that all of this stuff has taken place on, and yeah, they just kind of want you to fuck everything up. Next is Arachne. They're kind of, for lack of a better term, they're sort of like warlords, really. They just want war. But I tell that the intro that you're about to watch, pure aura, pure aura. It's so sick. And lastly is Sekaguchi. I personally have not played enough Marathon yet to get in contact with Sekaguchi, so I don't really know what they're all about. But I'm sure by the time by the time I'm editing this, you've probably seen what their intro is and can kind of get a gist of what they're after. Now, all of these companies, they all want different things from you. So they give you a list of contracts that you have to achieve one by one to basically level them up, gain things from them, and they want shit from you. They want a lot of shit from you, like a lot of shit from you. You can upgrade each of them individually to help you better with future runs. I should also mention, for anyone that doesn't know what an extraction shooter is, Arc Raiders is an extraction shooter. You've also got Tarkov, that's an extraction shooter. Arena Breakout, that's also an extraction shooter. It's sort of just, you go in with a set list of gear, be it guns, health, ammunition, stuff like that. And then when you're in there, you loot things, salvage, stuff to sell, other things that you'll need in further runs, more guns, ammo, and then you have to survive and exfiltrate. Okay, that's exfilling, infill, and exfil. That's what an extraction shooter is. You need to extract with the things that you have alive. Now, some of these games do it a hell of a lot easier. Arc Raiders, especially. A lot of people are nicer to you. There was one time I played, I was on my own. I was downed for fuck. I'm done here. And then some guy just came along and resurrected me, wanted nothing for it. He just picked me back up, sent me on my way, smacked my ass, went, off you go. And then I went. In Marathon, no one does that. You cannot pick other people up. You see someone, you shoot him, basically. Everyone wants to kill you. No, everyone wants your stuff. There was one time I had just loaded in. I saw one guy, he took me down immediately, and then I saw him immediately taking my stuff. I had nothing. So, was it worth it? I mean, sure, he got XP out of it. And I lost nothing really, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, that's another thing. If you're wondering what happens if you keep dying and you just lose all your stuff, don't worry about it. There are these things called free kits or sponsored kits. They basically just give you like bare bones gear. So you get like a gun, a bit of ammo for that gun, and health and a shield, like stuff to replenish them. And you exfil with that, you get to keep all that shit. If you don't, just you get another kit and you try again. That's it. That's how you do that. There has been a lot of discourse lately around Marathon, which, in my opinion, is kind of baseless and a little bit pathetic. I'm not gonna lie. If you don't like Marathon, that's fine. You don't have to like Marathon, but there are people wishing for it to fail so that the company can go bankrupt because the people don't like Bungie. Something to do with Destiny and Destiny 2. I don't really know. I've never played either of them. I don't know what the problem is. So, but I do know gamers, and gamers are idiots. Gamers are the only people in the world where you have to convince them to do their hobby, which is crazy. It's your hobby. You should want to do it. Why do I need to convince you to do something that you already enjoy? It doesn't make sense. But yeah, people have been comparing this to Roblox, which is wild. The reason for that, there's also Fall Guys. Roblox and Fall Guys, people have been comparing this game to. The reason for that is because the game has an art direction and art style, as I mentioned at the start of the video, that's bright and colourful and sort of like bulbous and not like brutalist flat. Everything's boxy, you know. The guns are boxy, yeah, but the buildings aren't, and so therefore that makes it Roblox or Fall Guys. You know, God forbid a company do something different. You know, sorry, I didn't realize you wanted more piss-colored games and like dirt browns in your game. I didn't realize you wanted more barren wastelands with no luscious scenery or beautiful things to look at. My bad, man. Sorry, that one's on me. That one's on me. I apologize. I'll put my hands up to that one. That one's on me. Of course, you're right. We need more games to look the exact fucking same. Anyway, that was a wild rant that I didn't think was going to happen, but let's move on. Let's go back to the runners that I was telling you about. So each runner has a class, and they will be adding more later on, but you know, the game's a week old and we're still in season 1. So every runner, like I said, has a class. First class you have is Destroyer, who's sort of more like just your heavy weapons guy. You know, he's the bog standard military man. He has his special abilities. To be fair, kind of cool. He has an energy shield that he can put down that people will shoot at. It will do no damage to you, and if you're behind it, along with the rest of your crew, they won't take damage. It's just an extra bit of cover. It's deployable cover, essentially. He also has this ability where he can fire rockets from like shoulder pads or something on his back that do a lot of damage. And the problem is, when you activate it, you have to like be already shooting a target before it like locks onto them, I guess. So it's not like you press it and then it immediately fires, which does have its benefits, but sometimes you need it like that, you know? You need it instantaneously. Next is Recon. Recon is pretty much exactly how it sounds. It's a recon. You know, it's recon, it's reconnaissance. What they do is they can set out a ping for to mark enemies within a certain area, not just for them, but also the people on your team. They can also spot them, and it can help you get into or avoid danger, which is, you know, pretty fucking handy. They also have this like spider drone. You throw it on the ground, it goes up to an enemy, and then kaboom. That's kind of it with Recon. They're pretty cool in my opinion. They definitely do have their handy moments, especially, you know, pinpointing where people are, especially if you've just come in a fight and then they go into cover and you lose them, and someone's like, well, let me ping them for you, and then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. You found him again. Then we have Vandal. Vandal is more so for people who like movement in games. There's actually two classes, but I'll get onto the other one in a second. So Vandal, she has this ability where she can cool down heat immediately. Heat is a stamina bar, for those of you who are wondering what heat means. It's a stamina bar for you, and when you activate this, all the heat that you have goes away. Your bar gets bigger and it takes longer to heat up, so you can move faster for further and for longer. She also has rockets that fire out of her hands. You can charge these up for a bigger impact, of course. They don't lock on, it's more just like where it lands, it lands. So you want to make sure you want to hit someone dead on. You don't have to charge it up, of course. You can just hold it down for as long as you want. You can tap it and it'll, you know, kaboom. And I also just think she looks fucking cool. She looks cool. Then we have Assassin. If you can't figure out what an assassin does, I don't know what to tell you. Except in this case, the assassin doesn't do what you think it would do. There isn't necessarily like a play style. Like there isn't one that's stealthy or, you know, one that's more of a heavy hitter. They all kind of have the same health, deal the same damage. It doesn't depend on the runner. It depends on the weapons you're using. However, with that said, the assassin can throw down a smoke grenade, although it's more like a disc. If I'm being completely honest, it's more like a smoke disc. And with inside that smoke, they can go invisible. The more they move, the less invisible they are, or the more visible they are, I guess I should say. And they can also just activate invisibility on the fly. They can just go invisible if you don't want to throw down a smoke grenade. So there is that. Next, we have Thief. Thief is my personal favorite, and also the other movement tech runner that I was telling you about. She is, well, she's a thief. I don't really know what else you want me to say about that. She has a drone that she can, that's like a little butterfly, and you can, there's a rope that comes out of them. You can sting other runners with it, enemy runners, and they will, it will cause them to drop loot, which you can, you know, go pick up yourself, or you can use that same stinger to pick up the loose loot that's just fallen on the floor. It doesn't need to come from a runner if you're just flying around and you see some loot just out in the open. You can sting it, pick it up, and then once you leave the drone, it will deposit everything for you. So that's quite handy. It also will, you can leave the drone early as well, so if you want to stop using it, you can literally just bring the drone back to you, exit the drone, and it will just be floating there. And then from that point on, you can just take out the stuff you picked up from the drone as if it was just like any other chest that you've picked up in any of your runs. Thief's other ability is she has a grapple hook, so you can throw it out and just zip across to where you need to be. It's great for vertical movement or escaping to heal, so there is that, but you should be reminded that everyone can see where your zip line is going, so they'll know where you are anyway. So just keep that in mind. Then we have Triage. Triage is your healer. You know, he's your medic. Does exactly what a medic would do. He heals you. But not only that, he has this ability where he can fire defibrillators, I guess, out of his hands. If he fires them on a friendly, then they will be revived if they were downed. And if he does it on an enemy, he will sap shield or health away from them, kind of like some sort of EMP blast, I guess. It's an electrical current that just shoots into you. So, you know, they're bastards for that, but no one's used it on me yet, so that's pretty cool. The other ability they have is a medic drone. So it's this little guy that they throw out. You can use them on yourself, and you can throw them on friendlies, and it will heal them. It does health and it does shield. So if someone's running low on health or running low on shields, you can just whack one on them, and then they're healed. And it stays until it has run out of anything it can give you, basically. So if you were downed and you were revived, you can throw a drone on your friend, and their health will tick up until the drone has no more health to give you, which is pretty fucking cool. And lastly, the last runner is Rook. Now, Rook is actually just a robot. He is pretty cool, to be honest. You can only use him in a solo queue, but you don't have to use him to solo queue, if that makes sense. He's optional. He's exclusive to the solos, to the solo players. And his abilities are, he can disguise himself, or rather like trick other robots, other AI into thinking he's one of them. So he can kind of just activate it, meander on in, take what he needs, and GTFO, basically. Rook's other ability is called Recuperation, and it basically does what Triage's medic drone does. It just slowly heals you over time. Quite handy, especially because he's solo, so he doesn't really have anyone to look after him. However, the ability can be disrupted if you take damage. So if you're using it and then you take damage from someone else, you stop healing, which kind of shit, but I get it. There needs to be a caveat, you know. Now, each run takes about it's about 30 minutes, but after the first 10 minutes, you can extract really early. Actually, you can extract 10 minutes in. So you've got 10 minutes to go in, get your shit, and if you want to leave, you can. It's quite handy. There are 3 different extraction points. Well, no, sorry, I lied. There's 2. There's a normal extraction point and there's a guarded extraction point. The guarded extraction point just means that you have to fight off a small wave of UESCAI, which is a really long anagram. The UESC is just the wider company of how people got to Tau Ceti, and AI is, honestly, this could be a whole separate video in and of itself, because the AI in Marathon is a rampant AI. There's a lot of lore here. This goes back to the 90s, so, you know, there's a lot going on. Marathon, though, is named after the ship, which the first 2 games, I believe, are set on. It's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, basically. It's too much to really get into for this video. I'm just kind of talking about Marathon itself. But it's really fun. It's quite cheap as well, considering it's a AAA title. It's like 40 quid, which is pretty decent. Also, I mentioned earlier briefly that there are seasons, so we're in season 1 at the minute. Marathon have done something that I really enjoy, and I wish more games would do if they're going to introduce a season pass, and that is, don't put a time limit on them. Don't put a time limit on your season passes, because if someone comes late and finds something that they like, that they realize they can no longer get because it was in a season pass, you're fucking them, basically. You really are fucking them. And it's more money for you as a company, you know what I mean? If you want people to pay to get access to the older battle passes, make them a fucking reasonable price, first of all. And don't lock people out of stuff, because then, you know, the whole point of the battle passes is to feed on people's FOMO. I don't particularly care about battle passes, If there's cool stuff in there, I'll consider it. Or stuff that I personally would like to have, I would consider it. But don't lock specific items out of it. And all the items that are in the Battle Pass for Marathon are all cosmetic stuff, which is kind of nice because there's no like pay to win then. It also does have a digital currency called Lux. It's kind of reasonably priced, I'd say. It's sort of more just like average price. So for like 1,000 Lux, you also get a bonus of an extra 100 Lux with each purchase, and that's about £8, which I think is pretty decent. But also, it would be cooler if the Battle Pass was free. But that's just me. You gotta make money somehow, you know? Even though the game is a paid-for game. And yeah, honestly, I would just highly recommend, even if you're not really a fan of extraction shooters, I'd say at least like consider it because it is good fun. Although there is the caveat of you will die a lot in this game, and you need to kind of just be aware of that, and you know, try not to get too upset about losing all your stuff because you can get it back. You just gonna have to grind for it and get really lucky. But you know, it's what it is. You're gonna die a lot. It's just accept it. All right, just accept it. I will say there are some things about this game that I think do need fixing. Granted, we haven't even had one patch yet or an update because, like I said, it's a week old. But the time to kill, bring that down. That shit's crazy. You can spend an entire magazine on an enemy and maybe kill them. You know, you need to. They need to work out that time to kill. It also feels like whenever I'm up against an enemy, they are shitting all over my corpse. So I'd like, you know, a bit of differentiation in the time to kill, because it sucks. It sucks. Sometimes it feels like you hit people and do nothing, and then they can one tap you, and you're like, sweet one, love this. Cheers for that. Love it so much. So there is that. There's that as well. But you know, stuff will come in time, I'm sure. I'm not particularly worried too much about it right now because there's time to fix it. So, you know, everything just gets balanced, especially with multiplayer games like this, that you need to do a whole lot of balancing issues. It's the same with fighting games. Some fighting games, when they launch, there are characters who are incredibly overpowered and they get nerfed later on. But what I've noticed tends to happen with those kinds of things is they'll nerf someone, and then in that nerfing, someone else becomes super buff, so then they have to get nerfed, and it's just like an endless cycle. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But you know, that is the nature of some things. It's kind of hard to find the perfect balance. But what can you do? You know, what can you do? But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this look into Marathon. I know I feel like I kind of didn't really talk about anything. I was just kind of talking about the game, but it's good fun. I love it. I love the aesthetics. I love the art style. I love the art direction. I love the way it feels. I love how the runners look. I like how the guns look. I'm a big fan of like boxy weapons. I think they just look really cool. And the fact that all these guns are like 3D printed guns for this universe is quite fun. The lore is in depth. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you do want to know more about the lore, then I think the guy that I mentioned earlier, Jake the All-Right, he has videos on the lore of Marathon. I've also just realized right now the reason why the operators are called runners is because that it has to be a joke. The ship's called Marathon and there's runners, marathon runners, as in like running a marathon, like the London Marathon. That's the only one I can think of. I don't really know many marathons, I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, I've just figured that one out right now on the spot. This is my live reaction. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm glad I figured that one out. I'm sure no one else has figured that one out or put those pieces together, have they? Not a single person. Yeah, so like I say, I like Marathon. If you don't like Marathon, I hate to tell you this, but grow up. Like, actually grow up. My camera also ran out of storage, so I had to stop the recording and start a new one. So if the camera angle was suddenly different, that is why. But yeah, if you don't like marathon, that's cool. You don't have to. Just let other people like things. You know, if you don't like musicals, you aren't going to pay to go and watch a musical and then complain the whole fucking time, are you? No. So if you don't like marathon, shut the fuck up. If you do like marathon, cool. Tell me in the comments what you like about it. Tell me who your favorite runners are. You know, how you've been finding the game in general, basically. And yeah, I don't really know how else to end this video. So I'm just gonna say goodbye, and I'm gonna go play more marathon now. So yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.